And we are recording. Oops. Hey. So check it out. I've done a little bit more. I tightened up some of the panels. I don't know if you can tell like all the subtle details that I've tightened up. But let's go ahead and throw in. I'm on the ink layer. I have the right nib. Let us begin. Let us begin. So I was catching Marsh's stream yesterday, and he was interested in the Bill Griffith piece. So Bill Griffith is the cartoonist that does Zippy the Pinhead. But what you should really know about Bill Griffith is he's over 70 years old and he still does a daily strip plus other stuff. That's what you should know about Bill Griffith. He's extremely dedicated, industrious, and I consider him to be a champion. Champion of comics. And that document is super cool. So last night he linked the cartoonist kayfabe video where they went over each one of them, and that's probably that's about as good a explanation of the Bill Griffith's 40 tips as you're going to get, because they comment on each one and they provide sort of expanded commentary. But if you were curious, you can find the let's see if I can find it. You can find the files on Cartoon Snap. So I just typed Bill Griffith's 40 tips for comics. And if you go to the Cartoon Snap, there's actually 4 screenshots that were on Twitter that I think are pretty good. And some of the tips, of course, may not appeal to you because Bill Griffith is from another generation. As I said, he's over 70 years old. So like he has stuff about, you know, you're like an auteur director, you're the writer, the artist, the lighting director, the producer, everything. And you can do everything but the publishing. Well, you can do the publishing now too, for example. So definitely check out this document. And the document ends with "Don't take comic advice from anybody," which seems self contradictory, because here's 40 tips for making comics, and it ends with "Never take comic advice from anyone." But actually, I think there's a deeper meaning to it. It kind of says take what you need and disregard the rest. It can be seen that way as well. And that's pretty cool. He has a lot of stuff about quote unquote funny comics. So there's a lot of stuff about things like rhythm and punchlines and, making a funny drawing. And I think that's kind of interesting too. And there's a lot of sort of throwaway lines like the superhero genre is great to make fun of. Disney is great to make fun of. Manga is great to make fun of. And of course, he's right on all of those. And I speak as someone who loves to make superhero comics. But I think there is a mistaken sort of notion that superhero comics all have to be a certain way. They have to be dark, or they all have to be very commercial. Like the whole point of them is to be like the large commercial um, comic making entities like Marvel and DC and so on. Because I don't know if they remember a time when there were superhero comics being made by anyone else, or superhero comics that weren't dark, quote unquote. I think dark comics are stupid, and so if that's what all I thought superhero comics were, I'd probably agree. I would say superhero comics are stupid too. But Flaming Carrot was a superhero comic. The Tick is a superhero comic. Concrete was a superhero comic. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a superhero comic, right? So they can be done in an interesting and different way. And in fact, since nobody's doing that, it's a wide open possibility. All right, I definitely prefer it to the jungles of Pellucidar, is what Abrax says. And then let me get Hondo back to his monkey form. So, well, I think we're in good over here. Let's go ahead and draw the Hondo changing from a goose. From a goose. Steven Universe cartoon, that's a superhero story. Dexter's Lab is a superhero story. Powerpuff Girls is a superhero story. Samurai Jack, it's a superhero story. You have so much leeway. Adventure Time is a superhero story. I mean, it's kind of a fantasy story too. It's like fantasy and superheroes. Not everything has to be boring or dark or overly melodramatic in a way that isn't, interesting or salient or significant or relevant. Not everything has to have a deeper meaning. Not everything has to be the fucking Watchmen, you know what I mean? Or Dark Knight. Yeah, two big triumphs in comics over 30 years ago. Each of them. Over 30 years ago. Or right around 30 years ago. When was Watchmen? 1989? You could still make whatever you want. And why not? And you could make it intentionally stupid if you want to, but you don't have to. The Mystery Men, you remember that movie with Ben Stiller and Janine Garofalo, William H. Macy, Pee Wee Herman, the great Paul Rubens was in Mystery Men. That is a spin-off from Flaming Carrot. Flaming Carrot gets his powers from reading comic books, superhero comic books, and it melted his mind, so he gets this giant carrot head. I mean, it was a wild comic. It was so great. All right, hang on. Oh boy, I gotta do like a bim shalabim. One thing's for sure, though, there's no free rides. And This is really not a contest of who's got the biggest social media presence or whatever. By the way, Abrax always says "bim shalabim." It's his catchphrase. Let's take a look at this panel. All right, looking good. This is the vest. Whoops, come on now. Give me the black. Get on the ink layer. Erase the bubbles layer down here. Okay, cool. Dragon Ball Z is a superhero story. One Punch Man is a superhero story. Don't be afraid of superhero stories, dudes. You can do anything you want with it. All right. I mean, if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Not everything has to be an attempt to be an adult, though. It's my opinion. Anyways, I'm an adult trying to be ironic. I like this, except for the placement is not ideal, but we're going to keep it. All right, so let's do the caw. Let's fix that. We on to bubbles now. Come on now. The bubbles, the bubbles. Inking technical pen, we're on the bubbles. All right, now here's the question. There's no background. There's no background. What do we do? We could leave it blank. That's a legitimate choice here because we've got backgrounds. We've got establishing shots here and here. We could do an abstract background like we did just a shading gradient here. But I think what might be fun to do because of this magical blast kind of thing that's going on is we're going to do a double oof. No, take the assist off here. We're going to do a double focus line. And I'm just going to, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we take it right back out. So I'm putting it on its own layer. There's a good chance it won't work. Oh, that's already a problem. Got the wrong brush. I like rusty nib. There we go. This is a Vince Coletta bit. It just takes up space and it shows that something interesting has happened. Right, there we go. So we got that happening, but we also have power coming off here too. I'm not sure I like it. I'm looking at it. I think my problem is that by doubling up on my focal points, I've caused a problem, which I can fix. Let's see if I can fix that. It's not always a problem, but it's a slight problem. In short, these lines look good. Even these lines over here. But what we can do is we can kind of halo the subject, but we're kind of flying blind. We don't have the guidelines anymore. I'm not sure if I like it. Oof. I'm gonna have to go get out some old Doctor Strange comics and look at how they would do it. How would we do this? It's like it's looking good on the sides, but something in the middle is not coming out right. I wonder. Let's say we kind of reveal that the talisman of Zune is what's helping him cast the spell. That's the thing on his turban. We could also do some light hatching. That kind of worked, actually. Well, this might be okay. Oops. The philosophy is whatever works, works. Oh no. Oops. Let's leave complete shadow up here. All right. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm liking it, except I don't like this little split area right here. What do we think? I'm thinking that's pretty good. I'm going to read you some more Bill Griffiths. He also says punchlines are optional. They can also come anywhere in a strip or story. All right. We have these two characters here. The one behind this is going to be Prometheus Powers. The one in front will be Abrax. So let's, working front to back, let's draw Abrax first. He says, there we go. Hopefully this will attract less attention. And I made his face a little bit too fat. I'm giving him a double chin here. What's going on? Why is he like this? All right. One of the problems when I switch to eraser, my eraser is super huge. Okay. We're in a very rough state here. Let's see. Ooh, I did this all in the hatching layer. Not ideal. Okay. How should the hand gesture? Like I said, all the emotions are in the hand, or at least 50%. I almost feel like his palm should be, let's say, well, I don't know. Like at this point, I truly am freehanding it. There's nothing. There's no lines behind it, so I'm kind of guessing where the figure's going to go. There's a good chance that I'll have to redo it, but it's got these big cuffs on this sort of Edwardian waistcoat. With a watch pocket. And now we can see I've gone too shady. I've given him the Abraham Lincoln beard, which I didn't mean to do. Here, okay, let's fix him up a little bit. A little beats. Why not? It looks okay there. All right, I should not have done this whole thing on hatching, so let's go ahead and just remove this. To the correct layer, which would be down here. Hey, come here. Boom. Now it's on the ink layer. And he's wearing kind of striped pants. This is close enough for rock and roll for right now. And there's probably some touching up we could do to continue to get this, but we've got his basic outfit. Cuffs all seem to be in the right place. The expression is right. Pupils are going the right direction. His mouth is open because he's talking. Never draw a character that's talking without the mouth being open. Don't draw a closed-lipped dude just talking away. All right. Superheroes rule. I don't care what anyone says. Okay. What do I do about Prometheus Powers being so close in? Okay, let's fix that. I'll just grab the pencil sketch. Kind of move it off to the side a little bit. About the same height. And unlike Abrax is looking this direction, but Prometheus Power should be looking this direction at the goose that just changed into a small winged monkey. And his eyes don't have pupils, so he's surprised. Here's his quiff haircut. All right. All right. Anatomy of the face. It's like a staircase with the nose down, the lip down, the lower lip down, and the chin down in. All right. And look how big his head is on his body. Yeah, we went a little too big. That's okay. It's just a pencil layer, so we can just make it smaller. There we go. All right. All right. I'm looking at the real estate that I used here, and I'm wondering. I mean, the whole point was to take advantage of this size of the panel. I could probably do this in half the size, but what would my next panel be? This is the rhythm question. I mean, it ends on a nice note where I'll never get used to that. We'll track less tension, and we seize a monkey. End page, right? That's a great rhythmic beat, for a page. So I might as well keep it. But I'm right at 31 minutes. All right. Now, I may continue to work on this later tonight, in which case you'll see me start on page 9 tomorrow. However, you probably won't see me start on page 9 tomorrow, and the reason why, there is no page 9. That's page 9. There's nothing there. Just because I find it easier to draw on a page with something on it, let's just go ahead and draw something on it. There we go. Some random lines. Maybe that'll inspire me to not be so intimidated by the blank page. All right. I'm looking at it. I think my pencils are in the wrong over here. This is the wrong. This whole line is wrong. Okay. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Comment. Share. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. And we're still going to be going. Comics every day, and there'll be more art as well. And on Saturday, what's happening Saturday? Probably another drive-in Saturday. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.